Welcome to VINDAL'S concept. Today we are going to be looking at LCM, lowest common multiple, or sometimes they call it least common multiple. This sounds very easy in the ear. Somebody will say this is for lower grade, but there are many things we don't understand and which we are trying to open up. You should know the meaning of lowest or least, and then common, which has few things that have similar properties. But the one I would like us to discuss is this multiple. It's used most times in sciences, mathematics, and all the rest of them. And when we talk about multiple, what are we talking about? And I want to use this to illustrate it. If you have 7 multiplied by 1 is 7, 7 multiplied by 2 is 14, 7 multiplied by 3 is 21, then 7 multiplied by 5 is 35. Now, that means 7 is a multiple of 7. This 7, everything here is are the multiples of 7. 7 is a multiple of 7. 14 is a multiple of 7. This multiple, this multiple, this multiple, this multiple, this multiple. Why do we say they are multiple? They are multiples because 7 was multiplied to get them. When a multiplication is carried out, the numbers we get, we call them multiple. So 7 is the question may come, what are the multiples of 7? Multiples of 7 include 7, 14, 21, 28, 35, and they are to infinity. You can't stop. You keep getting multiples of 7 and all the rest of them. But then these ones that were multiplied to get those multiples are called factors. This 7 is a factor of 7. 7 is a factor of multiple of 14. 7 is a factor of multiple of 35. These are how they are. Also, you can also say that 14 is a multiple of 2. 21 is a multiple of 3. 28 is a multiple of 4. 35 is a multiple of 5. So these are what multiples are. When you carry out a multiplication, the answer you get are called multiples. Now, in other words, it simply means that when you divide this 7, you can get 7. This 7 can be divided to get 7. Or let's say 7 can divide 7. Now 7 can divide 14. Then 7 can divide 21. That is why we call them factors. Factors are those numbers that can divide another number without any remainder. Those numbers that can divide other numbers without any remainder. For example, 35 divided by 5. 35 divided by 7 is 5. Then 28 divided by 7 is 4. I am taking time to explain this because we should know what a multiple is before we can be able to use them. Now, these are just multiples of 7. We can have multiple of any number. We can have multiples of 2. You can have multiple of 3. You can have multiples of 4 and all the rest of them. Now, coming to the main thing, which is called least common multiple. How do we do them? There is this popular tabular form which we use to carry out LCM, but I'm not going to go into that yet. I'm going to ask us a few questions because we need to understand what we are saying. Let's say, for example, you have 4 and 6, and you are asked to find the least common multiple for 4 and 6. What least common for multiples? Let's say LCM of 4 and 6. LCM of 4 and 6. Now, what we are going to do is, let's first of all list all the multiples of 4. Remember, we are looking for multiple that is common to 4 and that is common to 6. the multiple we are going to get must be common to 4 and to 6. Very important. Now let's list the multiples of 4. 4 times 1 is 4. 4 times 2 is 8. 4 times 3 is 12. 4 times 4 is 16. 4 times 5 is 20. All these are the multiples of 4. Now let's look at multiples of 6 and check which one is common. Multiples of 6. 6 times 1 is 6. 6 times 2 is 12. 6 times 3 is 18. 6 times 4 is 24. Now, if you check very well, which number is common? Which multiple is common to 6 and 4? I come again. Which multiple among these 44 and 46, which multiple or which number is common to 4 and to 6? If you check very well here, there is 12 here. That means 12 is here, and there is another 12 here. Therefore, 12 is the least common multiple of 4 and 6. This is another way to do that. It may be that it takes time, but I bet you this is the best thing to do. All right, let's go into something else. Let's take one more example. Let's do a little revision anyways before we go into that. Remember, we started with this LCM, and I told you that to find LCM, that is lowest common multiple or least common multiple, we first of all get the multiple. Now, I told you what multiple is. I told you that multiples are those. Okay, I said that 7, 14, 21, 28, and 35, they are all multiples of 7 because they are the product gotten when 7 is included in the multiplication to get them. Then I now went forward to say that when we talk about common, it means that two numbers are involved. In terms of common, that means two things are involved before we talk about common. So I said when we bring 4 and 6, we now want to find their multiples. If we do this, we get the multiples of 4 and then get the multiples of 6. The number which is common to the two of them becomes the lowest common multiple for 4 and 6. Now remember, there are other multiples of 4 and there are other multiples of 6. Maybe there are ones that may be common to them later on. But when we talk about the lowest, because 4 and 8, they don't even have relationship anyways. Okay, let's look at the LCM of 4, 6, and 8 and to see what we are going to have. Remember, what is the key word here is what is the multiple of 4, 6, and 8 that is common to them all. I will start with 4. 4 times 1 is 4. 4 times 2 is 8. Okay, let me be doing them simultaneously. 4, then 6 times 1 is 6. 6 times 2 is 12. Then 8 times 1 is 8. 8 times 2 is 16. No number is common yet. No number is common. Okay, let's say 4 times 3 is 12. 6 times 3 is 18. 8 times 3 is 24. 4 times 4 is 16. 6 times 4 is 24. 8 times 4 is 32. Wow, this is going to be a long thing to do. Oh, okay, let's say 4 times 5 is 20. 6 times 5 is 30. And 8 times 5 is 40. 4 times 6 is 24. 6 times 6 is 36. And 8 times 7 is, 8 times 6 is 48. Now, have we gotten any number which is common to all this? I think it's 24. This is 24. This is 24. And this is 24. Now, that means that 24 is the lowest common multiple of 4, 6, and 8. In other words, very important thing, the reason why we look for this lowest common multiple is that we can find a number which 4 can divide, 6 can divide, and 8 can divide. I say this again, very important. That is why we need it. The reason why we look for LCM is that we are looking for a number which 4 can divide, 6 can divide, and 8 can divide. Such number is called the lowest common multiple of 4, 6, and 8. If that number is the lowest amongst them all. Therefore, LCM of 4, 6, and 8 is 24. I'm going to show you another way of doing all this that are very easy and simple. Okay, let's continue with our discussion on LCM. If there is still some confusion on how to do this, please, I would like you to leave a comment. Or if there is anything you notice from this lesson, you can also leave a comment. And then I will reply you immediately. Let's use another method for finding this. LCM. What are those prime numbers? Prime factors. They include 2, 3, 5, 7, 11, 13, 17, blah, 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 and keep going to infinity. So, you must not use 3 until you have exhausted 2. In the division, you must not use 5 until you have exhausted 3. You must not use 7 until you have exhausted 5. You must use them in order. Unless 2 cannot divide, 3 cannot divide, 5 cannot divide, then you can use 7. But then in this LCM, in this tabular form, you must use these prime factors and you must use one before the other. Okay. I'll have this 4 and I'll have 6. I will start with the 2. 2 into 4, 2, 4 divided by 2 is 2. 6 divided by 2 is 3. I'm still going with 3 because I'm still going with 2 because 2 has not finished. 2 divided by 2 is 1. 3 divided by 2 cannot go. You bring it down. Then the next thing you use 3. 3 divided by 3 is 1. This 1. Therefore, 2 times 2 times 3 is 12. Remember that was the answer we got before. Therefore, LCM of 4 and 6 is 12. That means 12 is the only number, the smallest number. 12 is the smallest number or factor which 4 and 6 can divide comfortably without any remainder. 4 into 2 is 2. 2 is still going because 2 is still there. We go 2, there is still a factor of 2. 1, 3, 1. 3. 1, 1, 1. 2 times 2 times this, what? 24. That is 2 times 2 times 2 times 3 is 24. Therefore, 24 is the smallest number which 4, 6, and 8 can divide without any remainder. I am sure this is clear. There are other ways you can carry out this LCM if you are given a number that do not have common factors. If you are given a number that do not have common factors, for example, given a number which or you are given numbers which do not have common factors, for example, 5 and 7. LCM is 5 times 7, which is 35. As simple as that. Why? Because there is no common factor between 5 and 7. Therefore, their LCM is just multiple. For example, if you keep on multiplying 5 times 1, 5 times 2, 10, 5 times 3, 15, 5 times 4, 20, 5 times 5, 25, 5 times 6, 30, 5 times 7 is 35. And then you do that for 7. 7 times 1 is 7, 7 times 2 is 14, 7 times 3 is 21, 7 times 4 is 28, 7 times 5 is 35. So you realize that is it. Now, so when you have this kind of question, you don't need to go all this long process. Well, all you just need to do is just multiply 7 and 7, 5 and 7, you just get your 35 because there is no common factor between these two. Okay, thank you very much for visiting my site. Please don't forget to subscribe if you have not subscribed. The reason why I brought this thing is to clear the ways, because this is mostly used by lower grade students. Oh, sorry for that. We use it everywhere. We use it even in the higher institution. LCM is a very important concept that everybody needs to know. So, thank you.